Okay.
Justin Juice Kadis or Kadis.
Kadis is it?
Kadis,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, because we French sometimes pronounce things differently.
Okay, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So I come from French community, obviously. I'm so happy to see you here.
Me too. I'm happy to be here.
I mean, you're in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Halifax, Scotiabank Centre.
Yeah.
You know how long it's been since Platinum Blonde played in a huge building in Nova Scotia?
I'm going to guess maybe around 40 years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's special.
Yeah.
And you're part of it.
It feels like it's special, yes.
Now, Justin, I've been watching some videos, like the bootleg stuff
Yep.
of this tour. Incredible tones
Yeah.
and styles. And one thing I noticed, there's 2 different drum sets at 2 different shows. Ludwig's bluish
Yeah.
and orange.
Yeah.
So, are you touring with 2 drum sets?
No, just one. The blue one was just for the West Coast. Picked it up because
Gotcha.
those aren't my kits. So what we did was I wanted to play the Vista Lights on this tour.
Yeah.
So we had a friend's company in Vancouver supply me with the blue Vista Lights, and then it was another whole other setup for our East Coast tour once we got back over on this side. So that hence the different color of
Yeah, well, it's pretty cool.
I like it.
I mean, I just noticed it and I'm saying, what is this?
I'm gonna go with a different one on the next
because-
next one. So yeah.
Because you got the cash to do it now.
Hey, well, I mean, you know, if when you're playing at the bigger venue, I really wanted it to be definitely something that was a bit more striking, you know, and I felt like those feel like Platinum Blonde to me. Sort of neon colors and you know, see-through and that whole vibe, right? So
it's kind of like going still with the style of Chris Steffler. You know, the original drummer.
Yeah.
He has like a certain drum set.
he had
So
like a very he had a very large kick drum.
Yeah.
if I remember.
Large kick drum,
Steffler.
but still basic.
Very basic, but yeah, he had that big kick drum, and then he had his ride cymbal like right on in the middle of it, which was definitely an odd.
And playing like that, the
yeah.
kind of Simon Phillips style.
Very interesting.
So it's interesting. You have an interesting style too. So you're playing freely, I see, in these videos. What I find interesting, sounds like situation critical. You've got that feel to it. It doesn't really matter, that famous drum roll.
Right.
She says, in the history of Platinum Blonde, has any drummer ever messed that up? I said, I hope not,
That's
because
an interesting
that would be a super big mistake.
Yeah, that's a good question. Not that I know of.
No, I've never heard of it.
So far, knock on wood, I haven't messed it up yet. So
Yeah.
but that would be.
It's pretty distinct.
That would be, it is pretty distinct, situation critical, though, that's an interesting one, because that was a difficult one to sort of reinterpret with a live drummer, because it's such a drum machine driven sounding song. There's I don't know if I know the fans notice there's a lot of there's a kick drum thing in it that's a very triplet, like a do-do-do, and you know, I can't.
Even the hi-hats.
Yeah, I can't. So I'm trying to get it as close to sort of the recorded versions as I can, but definitely loosening it up a little bit for a live sort of thing.
It's so good to see Mark Holmes still singing great, and Sergio playing fabulous.
Yeah.
So you're part of a legendary group.
Yeah.
Now, what's your background to joining Platinum Blonde?
To joining them. So I met Mark probably, we're going on about almost 30 years ago now, through a really good friend of mine whose name is Michael McKenzie, who is one of the guitar players in Lowest of the Low. And so Michael was friends with him and introduced me to Mark at some point, and we actually had like a weekly jam night going in Toronto at a place called the Vox. It was a tiny little bar owned by this British guy, and he had great artwork up in there by a friend of ours, a very famous photographer, Barry Wenzel, who worked for the Melody Maker and NME back in the day and had amazing photographs of the Beatles and Bowie and the Stones, and so this place, the Vox, was adorned with his photos, and it had this really great vibe. And so we did a weekly jam night there where we would do covers by all the artists that we loved and different guest singers and stuff. And So that would probably be the first time me and Mark sort of started playing a little bit together, a couple Bowie songs and that.
Okay.
And then that led to the first then thing that we went out and did together was Michael Monroe from Hanoi Rocks.
Right, okay.
Came to town and needed a band for a couple shows.
Okay.
And me and him ended up being the rhythm section for that.
Mark also?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we supplied some bass and drums for Mike Monroe for a couple of gigs. And then after that, it was kind of solidified. You know, I think Mark really wanted to do something together.
Yeah.
And it was around that time that Mark and Sasha, who of course he was the drummer after Chris, they had a band going called
The Blondes?
This is after the Blondes. This is now going into like the sort of late 90s, maybe 97, 98. And they had a band called Vertigo. Right. With also another guy on guitar, Dave Barrett. And
David Barrett, because Dave Barrett came to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia with Mark.
Okay,
as Platinum Blonde.
Yes.
I didn't hear that name in a long time.
So around that time, we started doing some shows under the name, it was PB2, Platinum Blonde 2K.
Okay.
It was, at that beginning of starting to revise the name again.
At that
and
time?
I did, yeah. So this happened around 99.
So you were maybe at the Red Night?
That if it was between 99 and 2002, yes.
I've seen you then.
Yes.
And
so
then
that was me and Mark and Dave. And then after 2002, I had my own band that I had started at the time called the Yoko Cassionos.
Okay.
And then at that moment in 2002, I actually moved out west to the West Coast. So I kind of left that situation and then come back to 2019 when I was now back in Toronto again, and Mark said we're going to do some stuff. I need you to come back. So and then of course we started started ramping up, and then COVID hit, so we didn't really get to do too much. And then boom. So COVID hit, put us sort of out of the scene for a bit, and then we've just been sort of riding that wave until this moment now, when this opportunity came up for this tour to really come back. I think in a really big way. So
let's just say I've seen you twice. Then I've seen you at in Halifax.
Okay.
At the New Palace.
Yes, I do recall that name. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys played the New Palace with Dave Barrett.
Yeah.
And you played the Red Night.
Okay.
As Platinum Blonde.
Okay, the Red Night. Now that might
in Yarmouth. So that's 4 hours from now.
Okay, that's possible. That's possible.
No,
I mean, it's a long time ago now, so I don't.
So
I guess because I know they did do some dates with Sasha around that time too, just before.
No, it wasn't Sasha. It was
okay.
you.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Drummer.
Yeah.
Small world.
Small world, and now I'm back. So
and now I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So you're the first show I ever seen Platinum Blonde.
Wow. And maybe the last.
Oh.
Well, who knows?
No.
I'll be at the next one too. I know we're going to.
I think you will. So basically, this tour's going great.
It has been going really good. Yeah.
So merchandise flying
off the shelves.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I've only been up there once to the concourse, sort of incognito. But it's been going really good. The crowds have been amazing, and it's felt like a really kind of triumphant, comeback. People have really been into it.
The nostalgic part of it also is people just love nostalgia.
Yes.
Certainly the kids of today, because they can't have it.
Yes.
They want to live like it. So the next best thing, let's get Platinum Blonde to play, and let's go and support them. Billy Idol.
Yeah. Well, and you'll notice that there's a lot of longtime fans out there in the crowd, but there's also a lot of young kids, and those fans, their kids, and even some of their grandkids are now, coming to the shows and buying the merch and listening to the music and singing the songs, and so it's great. I mean, good music stands the test of time, right? So Absolutely. It just keeps living. And I think it's going to go on for a long time after that too. Yeah. Basically,
the way I look at it, Platinum Blonde's the Duran Duran of Canada.
Yes, I always had that vibe too when I was young, growing up, and even before I was in the band, I was a fan. So that was sort of how they sort of fit into the atmosphere then.
So,
in my
Justin,
world.
how's the tour going? Like, how are you keeping busy? Because I'm sure your schedule's pretty to the minute.
It's always you're always busy waiting usually.
Yeah.
A lot of hurry up and wait, but no, I mean it's a whirlwind. You know, it's a lot of traveling and when you have a little bit of time off somewhere, you try as best you can to maybe see a little bit of where you're at, but that can also be difficult too because you know, the shows are tiring, the day that goes into the show, everything involved in it, and then then you're traveling to the next town. A lot of the times you really do need that time to just kind of relax and get ready for the next one, right? But we got here yesterday, so we've had some time in Halifax, which has been great because it's such a beautiful city, and so we've been able to head out and see.
There's no
some
rushing,
stuff.
so
There's no rushing. Yeah, it's nice when you have that. It's harder when you get to town on the day of a show. We like to try to get there the day before so that we can just sort of wake up and have some time.
Get the air pressure.
Yeah.
And feel the place.
Taking the vibe, and finally the rain's been chasing us the last part on the East Coast, so we've got some great weather here today and yesterday, so that's a really nice change right now.
Because we've been having a lot of rain too.
Yeah.
So I think everywhere in Canada.
Yes, I think so too.
The United States as well.
We did good at the first part. It seemed like it was chasing us, and we were just outrunning it, but it caught up, and now I think we're through that. So
besides Platinum Blonde, you do a lot of projects outside of Platinum Blonde as well?
Yeah, I'm always playing as much as I can. I currently, another project that I've been involved in is a band called The Conscious Pilot, which we're a band that was based out of Toronto in the late 90s, who have over the last year now have reformed, and I've been a part of that reformation. We've released a whole bunch of singles this year. I think probably at least 6.
Wow.
And there's a bunch of videos too out there on YouTube. You can find it.
YouTube video is so important now. It seems. If you don't have a promo video, who are you? Right,
and so one of the bass player and one of the primary songwriters in that band is also a video director and a director of photography and stuff, Edward Pond, and he makes some great videos, so we can do that ourselves.
And keep fresh.
Quite easily. So that's been something that's been really exciting and some really good music. We're trying to play. We've played a couple of shows. We're hoping to do some more. Of course, geography can play a part in preventing that sometimes. And the singer, Neil, lives in Portugal, so he has a label out there and stuff. So him coming up, when he can come over and stuff, we're going to do some more
that means
shows.
Rehearsals are limited.
Often we rehearse like a part. We'll rehearse without him, and then he'll come in and we can maybe get one or two with him and then do a show. But we've all been doing this a long time, so it's usually works.
Only rehearsals.
We don't need a lot to get up to.
There's only one way to play a song.
Yeah, pretty
correctly.
Much. There you go.
Basically, So you're going to Newfoundland.
That's going to be the last our last stop. Yeah.
And then after that, it's like no more touring for a little while.
We're going to have a little break. Okay. I'm not sure what's going to really happen for the rest of this year. But I do know that Mark has been saying on stage that we're going to do an Alien Shores tour next year. So I'm thinking it's safe at this point for me to say we're going to be doing an Alien Shores anniversary tour next year.
1985.
Right. So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So that'll be something to look forward to, and I'm sure we'll start preparing sooner than later for that. We also in these shows we've been playing a new song called Wired. Okay. And so I have a feeling perhaps we will probably head into a studio and maybe put that out as a single soon, and maybe something else. Who knows? It's very possible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't promise anything, but this is what I hear.
Okay.
So
it's a positivity.
It'd be good. Yeah, I mean, it's been nice for us to inject a little something fresh into the set. And I think people appreciate to hear something new. And trust me, the rest of it is peppered with all the hits.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're depriving anyone of that.
Yeah, there's no B-rated material there. It's all A.
But we've been slipping that one in. It's been going over pretty good. And so, I think the plan is we'll probably try to get that out at some point.
Let's say going back with your other bands, like how do you guys promote your stuff nowadays? Because it's so difficult. Yeah, you make a YouTube video. Yes, you make your single on Spotify, blah, 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 but you don't get paid.
Yeah.
And
things have changed so much in recent times, the last 10 years with the internet, well, even more than 10 years now. I mean, it's been such a progression that I think it's what else can you do besides that, right? Besides just trying to find any way to get your name out there now. Videos help, merchandise helps, anything you can do, to promote yourself. Obviously, social media now is like the way to go. It's a big thing.
It is.
That being said, Platinum Blonde, we tend to, we haven't dove in like, a lot of the other bands.
Right.
Try to keep things a little more, people guessing what's gonna come next, because these days it's like everything is just out there, right? So
it is.
It's
and everybody's just,
it's a balance, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's like that. You still have to do work and release always something. It seems to keep people's attention span going, and then they forget who you are.
Right. Yes.
So let's say you're playing local bar in Toronto. How do you keep them interested versus playing here? Because here, when you're playing at Scotiabank Centre, time flies, and people kind of just only catch 2 songs sometimes.
Right.
People are drinking beers.
Right.
So how do you get them people come to see?
I just, I think in the end, like, it's the music, right? It's good music prevails, right?
Yeah.
So I think if your stuff is that good, people are going to come back. I think you got to be a good live band too. I think these days a lot of things rely on the live show. Obviously, it's harder to make money and stuff.
Move them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, right.
Hey, so part 4.
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah.
How busy is your summer this year? Like, let's say my schedule, just as whatever I do in music and stuff, I've been so busy.
Yeah.
It seems since COVID, schedules are getting hectic.
Yeah.
So do you live like with a schedule planner, or is it just because? How do you book yourself? Because like festivals now book a year and ahead.
Right. So I definitely have to have a calendar and put things down.
You need to watch
in order to keep things in order. Yeah, for sure. But it's been a busy summer. Mostly it was rehearsing for this and getting ready for this tour.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't really played together much in the last few years, so we had to come back together, figure out what we were going to do for this. Start playing, and so that's taken a bit of time. And in between that, like I said, I've been working with the Conscious Pilot, so I've done a couple gigs with them as well in the summer, done some recording with them, and then I'm always picking up stuff in between. So if I'm available and it's the right moment, I can make it happen. But if it's something like this, obviously it's booked well in advance, and so I know when my schedule kind of frees up and that. So. Yeah, but after this, I'll slow down a little bit in the fall, just in terms of accommodating, figuring out what is going to happen here for next year, because it takes up a lot of the time there.
Besides that, when I see you play with Platinum Blonde on those videos, it's a different dynamic I've not seen yet in Platinum Blonde.
Yeah,
it's just new life.
It's more of a live. I hope that's what I'm bringing to it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring those songs
and adding
into the
flavor.
live thing, adding what I do, but keeping it true to the original. And so, I'm a huge '80s guy. I'm a huge '80s fan. That was my era. And the music, I just, when I hear it, I know that I feel it needs to be played a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if Platinum Blonde has really had that up until now.
Yeah.
In the live setting,
Right.
for it to really come through as a live band.
Have you met
to be
Chris
recognized.
Steffler and that before?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I've known Chris Steffler for many years.
What's he up to now?
Chris, I'm not 100% sure actually what he's doing right at the moment, but I do see him, and I saw him in Toronto. He was at the Toronto show, and I see him around town and stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, I've known Chris for many years too, since the 90s.
Okay.
And Kenny McLean as well.
Okay.
I used to know Kenny as well back.
Okay. What
so-
we got here?
I was hoping it was a popcorn maker, but I don't think it is.
No, it looks like something different. It puts a bière froide.
Yeah.
So, going to be drinking some good ones tonight, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
it's like that. Yet again, I thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
No problem.
This is what we need on YouTube. Stuff like this, in-person interviews, talking about life in music.
Yeah.
And we need more of it. you know?
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
because how do you get young kids to learn from the greats?
Yes.
You got to talk to them.
Yes, you do have to talk to them. Yes.
And kind of ask anything in questions, and then you get stuff going.
And you got to hand it down to the kids. You
And
you
that
got to
shows-
hand it down to your kids.
And that shows how humble you are.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's very important in music. You got to be a good person,
I believe you are absolutely correct.
because you want to be in a tour bus with an asshole. No.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
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 That means you're probably a great guy.
I'm a great guy.
Yeah.
I'm easy to get along with, and I'm the life of the party as well.
Cool.
And what can I say? Never a dull moment,
Yeah.
Never a dull moment with this crew, that's for sure.
I'm sure. So Justin, pleasure again, man. It's
Thank you, Jason.
You have a great show in Halifax.
Thank you so
tonight.
much. I hope, so you're going to stick around, right?
I am.
All
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Sounds good. All right.
Yeah. Even paid $200 for a hotel tonight to see you.
Well,
So-
that's... Where are you staying? Oh, don't tell anyone.